I'll suggest a rat tail.
Ooh. It was the star of yesterday's show.
Yeah. Oh, and we've got a tripod fish right up here.
Oh, nice.
Another good candidate.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Zoom in, please.
Oh, you want Chonacops as a tattoo?
Chonacops tattoo.
This tripod fish is not a bad idea for a tattoo either.
But where on your body?
On your
tricep?
Manzel, you're up.
So a tripod fish.
Look at those sensors.
So yeah, if you look really carefully, you can see these sensors up here. Whoops. So these are the rays of the pectoral fins, and they are almost as long as the body. And it's propping itself up on its pelvic fins on the bottom, and then a very long couple of rays on its tail. So it wants to be up into the flow, just like corals. And this fish is preying on plankton. These would be like very small krill or mysids, amphipods, things swimming in the water column. And as those, it's facing into the current, and then as those small animals approach, flowing down towards the fish can sense them. It has tiny to almost absent eyes, and it senses them with this array of mechanosensory structures on these fin rays.
Here, come by, please.
Someone said, I actually have a Chonacops tattoo. It's on my arm.
Well, zoom in, please.
That's amazing. I wish I could see it.
That's fantastic.
I bet it's beautiful.
Yep.
Awesome.
I do not know what sea cucumber this is.
Wow. So Max, how difficult is it to focus on stuff like this, like on specimens?
When it really blends into the background, it makes it quite a bit more difficult. That one's easier than whatever one we were watching like 20, 30 minutes ago that was just completely see-through. Those just like look like an out-of-focus blob even when they're in focus.
Yeah.
So. Not too bad would be my answer, I guess. Ooh, what was that floating down to the right?
So Jeff, it seems like our viewer has committed to getting both a rat tail and a tripod fish tattooed.
I think that's a small rat tail.
I think that is too. That sounds like a great idea.
Very committed to the deep
Very
sea.
committed.
Yeah, it'll be right next to the Chonacops.
Shows true dedication.
So we'll zoom in, please.
This one's small enough, Josh. You want to give a try?
On
Collection?
good. We'd have to stop the ship and all that kind of stuff, but we can do that. Yeah. So let's stop the ship.
Let's do it.
Okay.
It's
can we come live, please?
It's not the very common one, Kumba, that we have been seeing, but
Are we gonna try the scoop?
slurp.
Oh, you want to
No,
slurp?
slurp.
It?
Yeah.
Okay.
The scoop.
Scoop is no fun.
No.
Okay. Do you want to try and get that out while I keep this fish in view? Yep.
Josh, what do we have in our array of collection tools? We have the slurp, we have a scoop.
Yeah, we
I've
have like
seen
a little
net.
net, yeah.
Data, which
That's awesome.
suction tube is open?
That's no outlet, I think.
Noel?
What was that?
What suction tube is open for this?
All of them are
sample?
open, so let's go with number 1.
Okay. I need to, sorry.
Yeah.
We already collected a bit of sediments in this way,
Yeah.
even we didn't mean to.
Yeah, that was my bad.
Fish is heading below the porch.
I know. Yeah, the sediment is not going to help us out here.
Where did the rattail go?
I don't know. I think possibly, oh wait, I think it's up there. Is that it? No, that is not it. That looks like a shrimp.
It's going to come down. There, oh, there's a shrimp, yeah.
Can you change the ISO in the still camera? Maybe we can spot it on there.
There's a sandstorm down here.
I think it may be gone.
That's fine.
There, oh, that's the shrimp.
I think so, yeah. Well, Josh, I think maybe we should head on.
Okay.
Don't know where it has gone. It gave us the slip.
Just gonna do one, just look over here.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna take a second to, no, it's a shrimp. I think. Yep.
Yeah,
So
that's a
legs
shrimp.
kicking.
Sea
Yep.
cucumber? Same as before?
This guy here? Oh yeah, that's that sea cucumber. Yep.
Okay. Well, let's put that away, and then now I'm gonna take a sec to clear off this mud on the porch.
Okay.
So that was not helpful in that particular.
It's a little shrimp. Ali, and welcome to all of our viewers tuning in. We are currently exploring an unnamed seamount west of Babeldeob Island, just outside the boundaries of the Palau National Marine Sanctuary. This is a 16-hour dive with goals to survey the diversity and distribution of deep-sea benthic communities and look at the area's geological features to better understand the age and history of the region. If you have any questions or comments, please send them on nautiluslive.org.
Okay, let's get the ship started.
Copy.
Jeff, can you talk about the significance of their colors at this depth? Why some of them are bright red?
Yeah, there's another Benthidites, another one of those sea cucumbers. So you frequently see fishes, crustaceans. Usually the crustaceans are red, and usually the fish are very dark brown or black. There are some exceptions. There are some browns and things like that, but you certainly don't see the colors of the reef. And the reason is that with increasing depth, the different colors of light are absorbed by seawater. So by the time you get to even just several hundred meters, most of the colors, the yellows, the reds, those are all gone. And the remaining light is blue. Blue is the wavelength of light that penetrates the farthest in seawater, and it can get to a little over 1,000 meters. And so if you are black, you blend into your background, and red does the same thing because red does not reflect blue light, which is why we see it as red. Instead, something blue reflects blue light, something that's red is actually absorbing blue light. And so it is great camouflage in the darkness or near darkness of the deep sea. The other part about those colors that's important is that even if, we're at 2,000 meters, there's really no visible sunlight left for organisms at this depth. But many of the animals here have bioluminescence. They create their own light, and you do not want to be highlighted by a potential predator or a potential prey for that matter. A number of them shoot out bioluminescent clouds as a distraction mechanism, but you don't want that light bouncing off of your body. So black and red are the most common colors.
That's so cool. We actually just
Thank
got a question about sea cucumbers from Bridget. If you examine them in the lab, can you tell their age and how?
Oh, that would be great if we could tell how old they were. That's really hard in sea cucumbers. I don't know that anybody has done it other than in shallow water ones where they were able to basically tag them or keep them in captivity and monitor their growth over time. But for deep sea animals, that's not easy. It is something that we do for deep sea fishes, and it has been done actually for brittle stars. What you need is a structure, something that is growing in the animal that is hard, that is typically made out of carbonate or something like that. And so it's something that would grow with making rings like tree rings would have. And in brittle stars, which are related to sea cucumbers, they have these segments of their arms, and they just keep growing in diameter as the brittle star gets bigger and bigger. And so they actually have rings. And people have observed that some of these deep sea brittle stars can be 10 or sometimes 20 years old. Some of the smaller ones are only a couple years old, but some of them can be fairly old. When we look at fishes, the structure that we use to age them is the little stone-like object called an otolith that is in the inner ear of the fish. And so you can do this if the fish are dead. And it grows these rings. And a number of these fishes have been aged, and we've studied the growth of these animals. And the deeper a fish lives, typically the slower that it grows and the longer it's lived. So by the time you get to the depths we're at now, 2,000 meters, many of the fishes will live to between 50 and 100 years. Oh, right over there. And they grow very, very slowly. They aren't reaching reproductive maturity until they're 20 years old or more.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. That is another Basocetus, type of cusk eel.
This one looks bigger, but maybe it's just the perspective.
It does look bigger.
Why is it called a cusk eel?
Well, Max, you want to take that one?
Yes.
You looked up the name earlier.
Because cusk is another word for tarsk.
Super helpful, right?
Yeah, that's what Google says. And then tarsk is like a Scandinavian word for cod.
Oh.
So it's like saying cod eel. So cusk eels actually are not an eel at all.
Oh.
They are unrelated to eels. They're actually related to cod. Oh, there's a great Faria sponge right there.
We can zoom in more.
What happens in the deep ocean is that a lot of the fishes adopt a very elongate body, eel-like body shape. And that's because they're living in a fairly dark place, and they mostly are just slowly cruising about from one spot to another. They're not rushing around like many of the shallower water fishes that have paddles for tails. That's really good at producing lots of power very, very fast.
Come by, please.
The eel-like tail doesn't move you very fast, but it does so very energy efficiently.
Wow, that's so cool. So it looks like we have a question. It looks like we have a question from a viewer named Muddy for Josh. Why don't you keep the slurp ready for use instead of just putting it away?
Yeah, we tend to not want to have the arm live when we're not really keeping an eye on it, just in case it decides to do something we don't want. So we tend to want to kind of put our tools down typically, but if we were exclusively, hunting fish, we would probably do that. But yeah, I could see the advantage, in this situation where it takes a bit of time and you can lose the fish and all that. But yeah, typically we like to still everything and make sure it's in its place when we're looking at other things.
Thank you.
It's a good question.
That is just a rock. Never mind, Josh. I thought maybe it was a piece of wood.
Yeah, it looked pretty straight.
Yeah.
Straight edge.
Maybe a sea spider?
I'm
No?
thinking this is a
sea
star.
Yeah, sea star.
Zoom in, please.
I think there's another little Basozetus or something.
Yeah, so this is a Brisingid sea star, and it is a filter feeder, kind of like the crinoids are, but it's actually a star that has adopted the same kind of shape and life strategy as a crinoid.
Yeah, looks like a crinoid indeed.
It doesn't
Yeah.
it, doesn't it?
Okay, live, please.
With all the little cirri coming off the arms there.
What does it eat?
It's mostly eating detritus and very small plankton out of the water column.
You can zoom in.
Anemone?
Deflated pumpkin.
Oh.
This is a sponge. You can see the spicule attachment in the back there.
I do.
I have not seen one that is orange like this before.
This is not a glass
I
sponge?
don't know if Chris Kelly is one, and he is not online. We have a number of marvelous scientists who are online participating in this expedition, and Chris Kelly is one of them, and he is an expert in sponges. So he will be able to tell us what that was later when we review the video. This right here is a Farreid sponge, Farrea aka, or something very similar to it. And we've seen quite a few of these on the deeper portions of seamounts here in Palau.
Ooh.
What is...
I saw that shadow
That
and I was like,
is-
what is that?
Yeah, that is a sea cucumber.
Yeah. I just saw its shadow on
It's,
the sand and I was like,
Yeah, one of the cool things in the deep sea is sea cucumbers can swim.
okay, let's zoom in, please.
Whoa.
So this is one that you can never tell when it's in focus. It's just looks
What
like
is that?
sand.
Can we get the lasers off for just a minute?
Sure.
Yeah.
So this sea cucumber is in the genus Pennyagony or Amperima. They're very closely related genera and they're hard to distinguish. And on the top, those frills that it's flapping are the tentacles around its mouth. And then in the center of the body, you are looking at a tube of mud because it's what we call a deposit feeder. It eats all the detritus on the surface of the seafloor, and that ends up in its gut.
So why are the sea cucumbers so mobile in the deep sea?
The thought is that they may have times where the seafloor around them does not have very much food, and they can sense that just as they're continually feeding on it. And if they somehow decide that there is not enough food in a particular area, or perhaps maybe they are being pursued by a sea star or something like that, they simply flex their body, which propels them up into the water column. And then mostly it's the current that moves them. They can't really swim very well, but they can keep themselves up off the bottom. And so they drift to a new area, eventually land, and hopefully they are away from the predator or they have found a better food supply.
Awesome, thank you so much. Menzel, have you ever thought that you would ever see flying sea cucumbers?
No, actually, and last night when we were doing the web interactions,
Zoom in, please.
we were talking to some kids in Florida and they were just mesmerized. They're like, are you sure that's a sea cucumber? I'm like, I'm pretty sure. But I guess it's the envy of the shallow sea cucumber, I guess.
I think that's just a piece of,
Is it just rock?
Coconut.
or like coconut or
Oh,
something.
Coconut,
that's what
coconut.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
because the texture didn't look right.
No, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll come wide, please.
Deep sea coconut.
Deep sea coconut. Yeah.
Can we get the lasers back on, please?
I was hearing there's a lot of research going on with this wood debris and the nutrients it could bring to the deep sea.
Yeah, it is fascinating. There's a whole group of clams called shipworms that break down wood in the deep sea. There's different species that live at different depths. And there's a community of organisms that builds up around what we would call a wood fall, a large piece of wood that will actually stay for weeks to months at a time on the deep sea floor. And you often will get bacterial mats growing on wood as it slowly is decaying. So there's a whole community that develops. So for instance, yesterday we found a log near the top of the seamount that was quite large, maybe 30, 40, 50 centimeters in diameter and a couple meters long, and that was already supporting a community of snails and limpets and had those shipworms already boring into it, and that'll create just a really unique community that really boosts the diversity of an area and provides a lot of food to the surrounding community as well. A lot of it is dependent on those shipworms. The shipworms have, just like termites, they have symbiotic bacteria in their guts that help them break down the really refractory wood material, lignins and things like that in the wood that most organisms can't access as a food source.
Nothing goes wasted.
Nothing goes to waste.
There's actually some interesting research that some scientists are performing in Nico Bay, which is a famous, very enclosed bay in Palau. And there's a lot of wood and leaf debris in this bay. And they assume that the corals there are slightly more heterotrophic, and they might be using some of this decaying organic matter
Oh, wow.
as food.
Right.
But
So
still-
normally they're using sunlight and using their zooxanthellae, but in this case they're using the dissolved compounds or the actual
Yeah,
particles
exactly.
of debris.
It's all ongoing, so there's nothing for sure. But there also been evidence that the net oxygen production it's negative on coral reefs. So they photosynthesize during the day, for sure, but then during the night, they become heterotrophic,
Right.
right?
Right. They have, they're
So-
just little anemone polyps, right? So
Yeah.
they can catch whatever out of the water column. Yeah.
They are incredible. They can do both. And we still have to really figure out which is the most important, side of it, depending also of
Right.
the environment they live in.
Another farreid coral down there. Here's something that looks like it might be different right there.
Is that the sponge that spins in a circle?
Yeah, I think
We'll zoom in, please.
a species of Regadrella, if I remember correctly. But nope, this is different. And there's a brittle sar behind it.
Taking a
Making-
walk.
Yeah,
Taking a break
taking a
for it.
walk. Do we, when we're settled, if we can zoom a little bit more, particularly
Yeah.
on the top of the sponge?
Okay, zoom more, please.
This might be Dictyolis. Great.
Okay,
That's
come
one
live,
of the
please.
sponge dungeons. Oh,
Another sponge dungeon.
yep.
Is there a reason why so many of the sponges have kind of this tan color to them? Is that for like camouflage or something like that?
I don't know. They certainly get very, very tan when the tissue has died. Normally they're much more whiter. But yeah, there's a number of species that you do see that are very tan, and I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if it's just a bacterial film. We can zoom on that sea
Yeah,
cucumber.
we'll zoom in, please.
This might be a synallactid sea cucumber, which is the same family that the Benthidites is in.
Go come live, please.
I think we might need a DVL reset.
Yeah. Sure. It's pretty close. Yeah.
So to our viewers just tuning in, welcome. We are currently exploring an unnamed seamount west of Babeldaob Island, just outside the boundaries of the Palau National Marine Sanctuary. This is a 16-hour dive with goals to survey the diversity and distribution of deep-sea benthic communities and look at the area's geological features to better understand the age and volcanic history of the region. Currently, Hercules is at around above 2,000 meters in depth. If you have any questions or comments, please send them over on nautiluslive.org.
Can we zoom in, please?
So small.
Can't tell what we're looking at right now.
I'm thinking Pathy got it.
It's tiny.
Yep, it's swimming that way.
It's got a big second dorsal also.
Baby
Yep.
rattail, no.
That's a bathygatted. Okay, we can keep going. Oh, I want to fish.
Is that an Ipnops?
Probably. Could zoom on the shrimp maybe for a second, unless you've got to catch up to Atalanta, Josh.
Yeah, we're kind of on one on top, but
okay,
sure.
We can keep going.
Big something there to have a look at.
So I also wanted to share that a new highlight video, the pink pyrosome, is now on Nautilus Live, and to our viewers, you can find it under our gallery tab. Pyrosome is a type of tunicate, so pretty neat.
We'll zoom in, please.
I also wanted to extend a thank you to one of our viewers who said that I have the perfect radio voice. A fun fact about me is I actually used to work in radio. I did some of the morning headlines back in a news station on Guam, and I anchored on TV for a bit.
You'll come wide, please.
Wow.
It was pretty fun.
Wow.
I can definitely see that though.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you know, it was super fun. I would get like recognized in grocery stores. And I'm just like, hello, I'm just getting my potatoes.
My heading is currently 167.
I told Dan that I use this voice just to practice when I order stuff through drive-thrus, and sometimes the cashier would be like, are you real? You're not a robot?
Zoom in, please.
That looks like a branch.
Yeah, it'll come wide.
All right. It almost looked man-made at first, human-made.
Ooh, tiny fish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll zoom in.
Rat tail.
Is this a different type of rat tail?
Come wide.
I can't tell yet.
Oh, sorry. I want a little bit more.
Yes, please.
Okay, we'll zoom. Never mind. He was almost in the right spot.
The fish felt the thruster wash.
Putting on the brakes there.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll zoom in, please.
Wow, current's just taking it across the seafloor there.
Ripping.
Yeah, current's actually picking up little
Wow.
bits and pieces of detritus on the seafloor, and tumbling them along, little tumbleweeds.
Do you think it's eating them, the detritus?
No, I doubt that the rat tail is. This looks very much like Kumba. It's got a little bit of a dark leading edge on the dorsal fin.
All right, I'm going to have to get on the move
Okay.
here. Okay, well,
Thanks.
come wide, please.
So Jeff, I'm noticing that even though we don't have many corals or even much, you know, space to hide or to shelter, we still encounter so many fish.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. Many of the fish are picking, there's a halosaur on the left. They are consuming worms, crustaceans, small animals that live on the seafloor, on the sediments, on sands or muds. So they actually prefer to be in these kinds of habitats, more so the rat tails, the cusk eels, things like that. But there are a number of other fishes that prefer to be in the more rocky areas. There's a little fish called an Oreo that we've seen in really high abundance in coral gardens. And there are a couple of, cusk eels are very diverse, so we've seen a couple of species of cusk eels. Lamprogrammus was one that prefers to be in these kind of rocky areas as well. Another one of those little pink sea cucumbers.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just going to get a little ahead here and then I'll
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
slow down a little bit.
Yeah, bring us forward because we focus on everything we see.
It's a little hard because everything's so interesting.
Right.
Yep.
So we have a question for our pilots here. When you pilot Atalansa and Hercules, can you kind of feel the current pushing against you?
Yeah, you can kind of feel things in the sense you just get that kind of, after you pilot for a while, you sort of get a feel of the feedback you're getting from the visual and how kind of hard that you're fighting, with joystick to get a feel for like which way the current is moving and, if there's forces kind of pushing on you because you want to go maybe some direction, but there's something fighting back. So you do actually get what you call kind of a feel for it. We'll zoom in, please. Even though, obviously we're not actually feeling it, but you definitely get that feeling.
Wow, thank you.
So there's a number of these bright red shrimp that have these pleopods on their tails or abdomens that they use for swimming. They're really graceful and beautiful. And there's a really big diversity of these, and we're still trying to figure out what all of the species are. They all look very, very similar. This guy's,
Wow,
the shrimp is being
charismatic.
very charismatic and very
What is
cooperative. That was great.
Yeah, look, come wide now.
Menzel,
Thanks.
that was actually our Palawan word of the day yesterday. Would you like sharing that with us?
So the Palawan word of the day yesterday was roor, and that means shrimp. So most Palawans would associate shrimp with the freshwater shrimps in the Palau waters. So it would be interesting for them to see these existing in our deep sea as well.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. So we have another question from one of our viewers. Can the strong lights be harmful for any of the sea creatures, or do they just kind of confuse them?
So the bright lights definitely are confusing the sighted animals that we see. One second, I'll answer that
Let's see that,
question. Let
please.
me just focus on this fish for a moment.
No problem.
That is Bazacetus. We can keep going.
Okay, come wide, please.
Ooh.
The lights are very much more intense than what these organisms are used to seeing. So yeah, it temporarily probably blinds a number of the animals. They're based on studies that have been done on some animals shallower than we are now, but still deeper living animals. Those, you know, the photopigments in their eyes come back and they can see again. But it's probably a fairly minor impact to them at these kinds of depths. I imagine that their visual scene is typically one of darkness, punctuated by the occasional bioluminescent flash. So the ROV probably appears to them as a very bright flash, and then it's dark again.
Oh, goodness. That's interesting.
And, you know, over time, then their hours, days, their vision would return and they would start seeing bioluminescent flashes again. But they don't have the same visual environment that we are so accustomed to. We constantly have visual input all the time.
Yeah.
Even at night, we see the stars, we can see shadows, things of that nature. And at 2,000 meters, there's really no sunlight left at all. It is all bioluminescence.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you. We have another question. Do any pelagic fish go down to 2,000 meters?
There are some. They're not very many, but there are a number of fish in the water column, what we would call mesopelagic fish, do what's termed vertical migration. So on a daily basis, they live at depth during the day where they are in darkness, where they can hide and avoid visual predators, things like swordfish and tuna. And then at night, they come up towards the surface. And this is a massive migration of biomass. It's the single largest migration on the planet. It happens every day in almost all ocean basins. And there are most of those animals during the day.
Is there a lizardfish on the bottom right there?
That I don't, well, no, let's check that out. Maybe it is. I thought it was just detritus or something, but that might be a little lizardfish or tripod fish. That's a tripod fish.
Ooh. We had another
Oh,
viewer
wow.
question. What do they eat, the tripod fish?
Well, hold on.
Yeah,
I'll finish answering the other question first. But many of those animals during the day live down to depths, sometimes in excess of 1,000 meters. 2,000 meters is a little far, but there are a few that do go that deep, and they will migrate between 2,000 meters and up to like 500 meters at night. But there aren't very many of those. The tripod fish, they are zooplankton predators. They are looking for little animals that are being swept down the current towards them.
Zoom in, please.
So copepods and amphipods and little animals like that. Basocetus.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, we'll come wide, please.
And for the tripod fish, where do all those little tripods come from? Are they all from like one place on their body?
Yeah, so the pelvic fins have extended rays. So the fins of fish have cartilaginous and sometimes bony elements. And so it's the first rays on the pelvic fins that form the front of the tripod. And then on the lower lobe of its tail, it also has extended fin rays. Oh, that is a cool sponge. Sorry to our listeners, I'm easily distracted. There's very cool things happening here.
There's so much wonder. Thank you.
I do not know what that sponge is.
Okay, we'll come wide.
And that? What's that?
Oh, yeah.
Oop.
Something else right there.
Yeah, is that a lizardfish?
Zoom in. Oh, there's another fish coming in the screen too. Oh, that's one of those, yeah, those hermit
That
crab.
is a hermit crab.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know?
Oh,
wow.
Can we get a zoom on that guy? It looks like it's in the shell of a type of mollusk. It's called a scaphopods. That cone-shaped shell.
Cool.
An
There it
ambitious
goes.
hermit crab.
Oh, it's got a little track. It's so
Yeah,
cute.
yeah. The shell is causing it, to make a little track, and so you can see some of those tracks to the right of it as well.
It's been walking around.
It's been.
Okay, we'll come
this is
wide,
its,
please.
What a long
its
journey.
area.
So it's like a gastropod would be the shell from, right?
Yeah.
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 It's a very
Oh.
interesting fish, no?
What was that in the water column? Right. I think that might have been a little cyclothone, a
Okay,
little
yeah, I'm gonna get
pelagic fish.
get ahead here again.
So it's a very ancient gastropod shell morphology.
The scaphopod,
Yeah,
yeah. And
because
it has an opening on the tip, on the small end, which is not what you see in gastropods.
Yeah,
where it's
exactly.
closed on the top. Yeah.
It's more like still a cousin of ammonites. When
Yeah,
there was the
right.
ammonites and also these
Yeah.
cone-shaped
Mm-hmm.
cousins of them at the time.
Yep.
The Devonian, I think it was the period.
Right. Groups that used to be super common, but now are kind of rare.
Or maybe we can still find some remnants in the deep sea, such as
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Nautilus.
Yep. Nautilus. Scaphopods are quite common in the deep sea, actually. They're usually buried in the sediment, so we don't see them with the ROV. And stalked crinoids are another one of these things that people considered living fossils.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
only knew them from the fossil record, and then when they began looking at organisms in the deep sea, there were stalked crinoids.
Perhaps we will see the Dankelosteus as well. This is the
The
huge
prehistoric fish.
huge shark
Oh,
sort
yeah.
of.
that would be something.
Yeah, that would be something.
4 meters long and all jaws.
Yeah, with all these plates of skeleton. Do we want to zoom on that sponge? Or it looks very similar
Yeah,
to the one we already
and we've
saw.
got a little coral
Coral.
here as well.
Coral.
All right,
I
let's
chose.
zoom in, please. You choose coral.
Thank you, Greta. Looks like a chrysogorgid. Maybe Chrysogorgia stellata or something like that.
Is there something on it?
It looks like it has a little shrimp or perhaps a squat lobster in its branches. And there's a brittle star on the back there.
Okay, we'll come wide.
Do you have any guesses
Can
on
we do a zoom on the sponge?
Yep.
That looks like a bolosoma.
There's something else here.
Yeah, that's another chrysogorgic coral.
Same coral.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sometimes Herc just doesn't want to slow down. Okay, we'll zoom in, please.
Great, that's what we need.
Okay, we'll
Thanks.
come wide, please.
We have very similar sponges in the reefs with the same sort of shape as those ones. They're
The
more
stocked ones?
like with a thin leg
Yeah.
and then a ball on top.
Okay.
Yeah. The first time I saw one, I was like, what the hell is that? And then I realized they're sponges. Reminded me a lot of that one.
Uh-huh.
Are the lizardfish related to the tripod fish? I've heard people suggest one over the other. Like
They are, yeah, they are related. So this is the family Yyyy-mm-dd, and it includes the lizard fishes and this little fish called Ypnops and another blind deep sea fish called Bathytyphlops, and they are in a family related to the true deep sea, lizard fishes, Bathysauridae, which actually have the big giant jaws and look like the lizard fishes you see on a reef.
Right.
And that family on the
Zoom in,
reef
please.
is Cynodontidae, but they're really close together. They're all related
Right.
to one another. Yep.
Ooh.
And this looks like Regadrella. And you can see the shrimp right in the side of this one. So we come around, look into the top through the kind of openings, and you might be able to see kind of a pink, light pink animal. It's on the right-hand side, and that is a shrimp living inside of this sponge.
Okay, well, come wide,
Great,
please.
thanks.
So the Palawan name for the lizardfish is Tamaitolok, and there's a small little children jingle for about the Tamaitolok.
Are you going to sing it for us?
Tamaitolok arari ke beba aasa eriten. It's a short version.
That was so fun.
That's great.
Thank you.
That was great.
So we just got a question from one of our viewers. How young is your youngest person there? And I would just like to comment that I think it's wonderful that Nautilus prides itself on being a learning ship. We have people from different ages, from straight out of college to decades of experience, and we're all sharing the same space together, sharing our experiences and our backgrounds, and it's just wonderful to get to learn from each other. Ooh, so pretty.
Yeah, this is one of the synallactid sea cucumbers.
Okay, I'll come wide, please.
Great, thanks.
Definitely a pretty good hill. It's quite a good slope here.
I am surprised at how much sand and mud there is, though. I had
Yeah.
expected it to be rockier than this. They're certainly rock outcrops, but a lot of sediment.
Okay, I'm having to continually thrust up, as we're moving forward.
Yeah.
And looking quite up with the camera.
Can we zoom on that? That might be
Sure.
a
We'll zoom
piece
in,
of wood
please.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you can see this community of organisms we were talking about just a little bit ago.
Baby squat lobster
There's a
on
little
there.
squat lobster on there, and looked like what was a limpet or a snail.
Oh, sorry.
And the holes on there are probably the home to these xylophagid bivalves. That's an urchin,
This is a
actually.
sea urchin, yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
A little wider,
Great.
please. Yep. Okay, we'll come wide.
Oh, fish. Want to go
Oh,
for
yeah.
it?
Since we're here, if we can look at that fish really quickly.
Yep. Okay, we'll zoom in, please.
I smell Basazetus.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yep, that's Basazetus. We can keep going.
Okay, come wide.
That's awesome.
Amanda, I'm not sure that we answered your question about the youngest people on the ship.
We did not.
But typically, maybe Max can speak to this a little bit, but typically our youngest folks are through our undergraduate and postgraduate internship program. So we have a couple of interns on board every expedition. This leg, we also are super fortunate to actually have a high school student on board with us who's helping as a data logger. Shout out to Taya, so she's on board today as well. Yeah, but Max, you want to share a little bit about your background and what got you here?
Yeah, totally. So I think I'm the youngest person on this shift. I just graduated from college. I pursued a degree in both marine science and film.
Sorry, we'll zoom in, Max. Thanks. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're totally good.
Nothing.
Oh,
Piece of
just
rock.
a little rock. Okay, come wide, please.
The Nautilus internship was something I've applied to a couple years in a row. It seemed like finally, by the time I had finished college, I had built up enough experience to really qualify for the internship, and that was just like a lot more experience behind the camera and on set and stuff. And this is the video engineering internship as well. But I think there's a variety of different levels of experience that people get brought on with. But generally people have some experience before they come on board as an intern. That's been my perspective.
How do you feel about your experience so far?
Oh, it's just awesome. I mean, you can't beat seeing and filming like this never before seen seamounts in life and truly exploring the deep. I think that's a pretty incredible opportunity to get to do this.
We'll zoom in, please.
Thank you.
And our internship applications for 2025 are currently open. So any interested students at any level in their journey, we definitely encourage you to apply. We've got engineering options, we've got science options, so take a look at the website. I think also our Science Communication Fellowship applications are open.
It is.
Amanda,
yeah.
maybe you can tell us about that.
Well, our Science Communication Fellow applications are currently open, and really your responsibilities as a fellow is to make science accessible to everyone viewing. You know, like I always say that if you are curious, then you're capable. So please apply just for the sake of applying and see where that takes you.
All right, I'll zoom in, please.
We haven't encountered many organisms all together grouped like on this rock. Seems like this feature popping out of the seabed.
Yeah. This is a chrysogorgid.
Creating some good habitat for them.
Okay, come wide, please.
I don't see anything on my end. It's possible that there's some interference with the VSAT.
Okay, well, come wide, please.
Yeah, and sometimes the VSAT will,
Thanks, Josh.
yeah, the signal won't be perfect with the streams. But yeah, let me know if more people say that.
Oh, same sort of rock organisms.
Yeah.
They're just on the same side as well, towards the deep.
Yeah, and probably away from sand sediment coming down slope,
Yeah.
which
Zoom in,
would
please.
disturb them. That is a large sponge.
And perhaps their feeding is aided by the water eddying when coming down
Right,
slope
when coming down slope,
and
yeah.
eddying at the back of the rock, slowing down
Yeah.
the flow and making them easier for them to capture the particles.
Can we move a little to the right to see the base of the sponge?
Yep, working on it there.
Cool.
Just come a little wider for me. Great, thanks. Yeah, I'm curious. It looks like it's just floating out in the water there. Oh yeah, there's a, like a stalk
Is
coming
there the
out.
stalk there?
Can we zoom the nav screen slightly? And also, I think we need a DVL reset.
Kind of looks like a hylanema. But this...
Yeah, just zoom in one.
Just zoom in one so we can see the 50 meter.
That
Big
is a sea
sea cucumber
cucumber.
swimming
Yep.
in the background.
Yeah, that's fine. That's good.
Okay.
Yo, come wide, please.
Yeah, I
There
think
you
you need a
are.
reset.
Let's
Oh.
have a look.
I saw that.
Whoa.
It's just moving on, and then woo.
Is that a fish or a?
No, I think
That is a sea cucumber.
It's a cucumber, yeah.
So mobile.
I got a quick shot here, and then I got to keep on moving.
Okay.
All right, let's zoom in, please.
That looks like that synallactid that we were looking at just a couple of minutes ago.
It's following us.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being a sea star and scouring the seafloor for weeks to
Can we
find
pop
prey,
the
and this
lasers
is
off
how your
for 1
prey gets
second?
away?
You can't win.
It's so graceful. It's like a little spaceship.
Could we turn the lasers off for 1 second? Just
Yeah.
get some video of this. Thanks.
There you go.
Because it's swimming, I'm thinking maybe it might be a elpidid and not a synallactid, but I am not sure.
Okay, we'll come wide.
So not all the sea cucumbers swim in the
No,
Vigo.
no, they do not.
I gotta get a move on.
So Dan, I have a question for you. What's it been like navigating these waters?
It's been really interesting. It's been exciting to learn this role. There's a lot going on here, and it's been really interesting to do deep sea exploration. Most of my experience is in shallow water mapping and just scuba diving. So these creatures are mostly new to me, and it's been a really cool experience so far.
That's awesome. I have complete faith in your ability. You are a man of many talents, including the fact that you are a rock star, a drummer.
Thank you. Well, it's a pleasure to be in the presence of a radio superstar as well.
I'm only popular in the grocery stores of Guam, so all the aunties love me.
Okay, so we've got a yellow crinoid and some dead sponge stocks. Probably Corbitella or something like that.
Okay, we'll come wide,
Great,
please.
thanks.
Zoom in, please.
coral.
Why are they called cup corals?
They grow as a single polyp, and the skeleton
we'll come
at their
on.
base looks like a little cup
Oh,
they
cute.
grow on top of. There is, over there on the left, another tripod fish.
You want to zoom on that, or?
If you've got the time,
Yep.
but otherwise,
Yep,
we
we
keep
go.
going.
Okay, we'll zoom in, please.
Can we get the lasers
yeah,
back
laser, I
on,
was going to
please?
say, do you want lasers back on?
Cool. If you want, oh, this is great video. If you want to turn the lasers back off, we've got size
Oop.
on them now.
A little wider for me, please.
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
So how big do tripod fish get?
There's a couple species that get up to about 50 centimeters or so. This specimen here looks like it's about 20 centimeters roughly.
Do they swim at all, or do they usually just kind of stay stationary?
Most of the time they stay stationary, but they do have the ability to swim very
wide, please.
rapidly, very quickly away. They collapse all their fins against the side of their body and swim off to a new location. So they are extraordinarily difficult to catch with an ROV because of that.
Thank you. Ali, and welcome to our new viewers. We are currently exploring an unnamed seamount west of Balboa Island, just outside the boundaries of the Palau National Marine Sanctuary. This is a 16-hour dive with goals to survey the diversity and distribution of deep-sea benthic communities and look at the area's geological features to better understand the age and volcanic history of the region. If you have any questions or comments or just want to hang out with us, please send them over on nautiluslive.org. So, Jeff, I actually have a question for you, and it's one I've been really excited to ask you. When you're watching a movie with fish in them, do you find yourself identifying them? Please be truthful.
It is a danger of being an ichthyologist, yes.
Are you ever at one point like, wait, I gotta stop. I gotta know what's going on.
I won't go that far, but I do note the species of fish when I see them in a movie.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Does it make you angry if they're like incorrect?
Oh yeah, you see a
like a
survival
fish that's-
movie
yeah.
or something and they're supposed to have caught something out of the water and they pull it up. I'm like, yeah, there's no way that lives there.
It's a new job title. Movie set ichthyologist.
Producer just got lazy, went to the store and bought something.
That fish would not be there. Ooh, it looks like well, I'm getting a few shout outs from
Right there,
Guam.
you see that little tiny thing?
Ooh, cool.
Right
Yeah,
down there?
I was looking at the little black one that looks like a trail behind it, but yeah, look at that too.
Oh, that might be an urchin. But
Yeah.
let's go for the mobile thing first.
Okay, okay. We'll zoom in there, please.
Cute.
I was trying to lead you there, Jeff.
Oh.
Thanks, Josh. Okay, that's a shrimp. If we
Okay.
can get just a little bit more zoom to
Yep.
see which one it is.
Sure.
Pneumatic arsinus. Okay, and then we can...
Okay, come wide and try and back up a little bit without causing too much of a stir.
And it was that thing right there, yeah? Which I'm guessing is going to be an urchin.
I just saw the trail and then...
Yeah.
Okay, we'll zoom in,
absolutely.
please. Oh, look at that. That's cool. Huh.
That's an anemone.
I know, I was like,
How
huh,
does it have
how
a
does it have a
trail?
little... It looked like it... I mean, maybe it was just my trick in my eye, but it sure looked like it had
Yeah.
a trail. But maybe
it's
maybe
looking for
not.
its hermit crab.
That is definitely not an urchin. Okay, well, come wide, please.
I'm glad you saw it.
Yeah.
So cool.
Huh. Maybe it's just
It really does.
coincidence.
Yeah, I guess so, but it really does look like it has a trail.
So one of our viewers sent a note to Jeff. We birders can relate to the fish dilemma. My best so far. Why is there a California quail in Ireland?
I used to work on planes, and I feel the same way every time I watch Top Gun. Planes don't do that.
Yeah, we'll zoom in, please.
Another Bursingid sea star. And we can zoom when you're ready, Josh, a little more on the sponge.
Okay.
Looks like
Oh,
probably
go ahead. Zoom in.
Regadrella. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
We've essentially seen this combination of a Regadrella sponge with a Bursingid sea star on every boulder that we've
Yeah.
passed so far.
Oh, come wide, please.
They find the same perches. What is that orange thing right there in the water column?
Oh, sorry, I was looking at the stock. Is that a stock crinoid up there?
Yeah, that's Proisocrinus rubimaris.
All right, let's see if I can get this. We'll zoom in.
Sorry, the little orange thing we
Yeah,
saw right the last minute.
I think that was it. I think that's it right there.
What is that?
What?
Okay, this is the molt.
Is that a
of
molt? Yeah, I was going to
crustacean.
say it looked like
So
a
this
molt.
is an
Yeah.
empty exoskeleton, probably of a mysid.
Wow.
Yeah, or possibly a hyperid amphipod. So this probably originated in the water column
Okay.
far, far
Come
above
wide,
us,
please.
and is now detritus sinking to the seafloor, but it is very bright, so it caught our
Impossible
attention.
to follow and impossible to focus on.
Yes.
Thing. But yeah, cool. I love these guys.
Yeah,
Or these ones.
yeah, these stocked crinoids are
Yeah, we'll
amazing.
zoom in,
It looks
please.
like a flower.
It really does.
So are crinoids related to anemones and other cnidarians?
No, crinoids are an echinoderm, so they are
What?
related to sea stars, brittle stars, sea cucumbers, so they have the radial
Okay,
symmetry.
well, come wide, please.
You can think of them as being more closely related to the brittle stars or something like that. So the Bursingid sea stars that we see, they also kind of look like a flower, except that they sit directly on the seafloor.
Wow.
And those would be more closely related than cnidarians would be to the crinoids.
It's beautiful, thank you.
I'll zoom in, please.
Wow.
These shrimp are amazing. So this one, based on the depth and that very long rostrum, the spike sticking out between the antennas, it's an Aristeid in the family Aristeidae, which it eliminates one of the other families, Benthasimidae, that it could be. But as far as species goes, I do not know.
Yeah, come wide.
It's so graceful.
Possibly Plesiopenaeus, possibly Cerataspis.
So are they using those appendages in front on their head to just like a plane to fly around?
Yeah, they do. Those are called antennal scales, and they do use them that way. And along their margin, there's also lots of sensory structures. So they're part of that whole, their antenna and the sensing system of the animal too. But it seems that mostly, yes, they're using them as planes for swimming.
See that jelly? Look like cubozoan, sort of. Maybe not though. Are there any deep cubozoans?
I'm not certain of this, Max. I'm not aware of any, but that doesn't mean there aren't any.
Interesting.
We'll zoom in, please.
This is another one of these sponges. And it's a glass sponge, but it's beyond that, I do not know.
Yeah, we'll come wide, please.
Oh, there's almost a fluorescent green thing on that rock, Josh.
Okay.
Just on the right to the sponge.
Right there.
Okay, we'll zoom in. Sorry, I had to back up there a little bit, caused a bit of a...
Ah, there it is. That right there, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that?
Any ideas? There's another
Sure.
one right
Yeah,
up
there's
there.
another one here if it's easier.
Yeah, I've just gotta... I think the current's actually pushing me up the hill, so I keep slowing down, but I had just drifted really far forward and I had to back up. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll come wide. Maybe we'll find another one. A little bit
Wondering if the
silty.
sponge is heteroreti, I think is how you say it, but I'm not certain.
All right, get a little move on here.
Oh, little arch.
Yeah.
More sponges, Bolsoma, Dictyalis.
Was that another coconut?
A coconut?
Oh, there was a coconut at
There's
the...
a hemicorallium right
Let's do
there.
a quick zoom on this one, Max.
Wow. Is that another brittle star?
Come wide.
Uh-huh.
And Just gonna catch up just a little bit here.
Oh, and I was wrong. That was Paragorgia. Steve Oskovich corrected me in the science chat. Thank you, Steve.
Hey, Steve. I've got Steve Oskovich's coral pressure on me now.
Uh-huh. Don't miss any.
Oh, another stock.
Another stock crinoid.
Do these crinoids move around?
Apparently some of the stocked crinoids can move. I don't know if this particular one can.
The stalked crinoids
Oh, there's
can move?
a couple of them can, yeah. Let's
What?
check out that sea star.
How do they move?
They have some tiny sort of legs
Okay, we'll zoom in,
at
please.
the end of their body. Like the, but mainly, at least the coral reef ones, the shallow water ones, they can actually swim around
They
with
can?
their arms. Yeah, and when you see them swimming, is actually very, kind of graceful.
Wow.
Very nice
Yeah.
movement.
The more you know. Thank you.
I'm not sure. I almost want to say evaplasoma or something crazy like that, but I'm not sure this is the right one.
Okay, we'll come wide, please.
Thank you.
It's crazy, like a current is like, it's,
Pushing you up.
yeah, like I
right?
try and stop and it just like
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, so you're
keep
back.
on drifting
Not
forward.
that one.
So
Another
I like
big
have to
dump
put
of
the brakes
dies.
on
Yeah.
and then like everything just comes up front.
Hexacoral sea cucumber.
Do you guys know how fast the current is right now?
It's a little hard to tell. I think it's coming from behind us, which makes it hard to slow down when I want to stop. But it's difficult to tell how
Oh.
fast it's moving.
There was a coral back to the left, but we may not be able to stop.
Okay, there's
It may
another one
also
just to the
be-
right there,
Yeah, okay.
I think. Right there.
Something odd to the left. Little fur ball.
Right, can you
We'll zoom in, please.
Right, can you also feel the push of the current?
I don't. I know some people describe getting things like vertigo and
Metallogorgia.
whatever when they're driving and looking over cliff edges and stuff.
Go come a little wider.
I personally
Slide over to the
don't.
left here.
Oh,
And
That's awesome. Thank
we'll
you
zoom
for
back
sharing.
in.
Oh, I see.
whoa.
Little crinoid.
Oh yeah, okay. Oops. Okay, we'll come wide, please. Back up a little bit. This current just like wants to shove me right into the rock.
Jeff, I have more questions about swimming stalked crinoids.
Not swimming, crawling.
Crawling.
The ones in the reefs?
Do they,
They would
where do they
duplex.
detach, like the base of the stalk?
Just,
Is
my
mobile?
thing
Like,
is
I don't- how does this
167,
work?
so
I'll show you
if you keep heading off
pictures
in that
of
direction,
these
we're
from Hawaii.
off
I
in the
can't
weeds.
remember the taxa.
This is blowing my mind.
They are not as long a stalk as
Okay.
the Proisocrinus that we see.
So that thing's not going to go crawling
I
across
don't
the
think
seafloor.
Proisocrinus can crawl, no.
I think a great question would be how fast do they move? Like, is it like a slow crawl or is it like a sprint?
I can only presume that it's very slow.
It can't be fast. Surely the stalk slows them down significantly. I'm looking up papers on this right now.
It's going to turn into a presidential debate. We're going to have a fact checker here. This is great.
I just am shocked. What do they do with the stalk? That's my
I don't
biggest
know.
question.
There's this particular place on the south shore of the big island of Hawaii, and I'm trying to find a picture of... So I know the name of this particular short-stalked crinoid. Here's one where you can see the feet. Noel? Oh, sorry. But I'm going to find the other one where I was diving in the sub one time, and Chris Kelly told me this. And I
Wow.
was
Zoom in, please.
shocked.
You also had this experience.
Uh-huh.
I'm just gonna tilt down and
Yep.
check on the
Tiny
tiny.
rat tail.
Okay.
Oh, excellent. On the little one.
Uh,
We might want to collect this, or at least
Oh,
try.
Okay, let's come wide, please. We're gonna have to.
Okay, we're
Hurry.
gonna set up for
We'll need to zoom on it one more time, but I just wanted to give you heads up before,
Yeah, we have to keep
before
it.
we get too far away
Keep
from
an
it.
eye on it.
Yep, got my eye on it.
I'm setting us up for suction.
Yeah, you just grab the arm. I can do all that.
Okay.
And then now you may want to step the ship back. Okay, I'm just gonna turn it on, I think.
Yeah,
Whoa.
that's how we've done it before.
Okay.
Blast.
What are you, sorry, what were you pointing at?
The jitteriness of that.
Oh, that is really weird.
Yeah, it's just I can see in the corner of my eye.
Oh, I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna close that. I'm just minimizing that for now.
I would leave it like that until we get closer so you have the reach when you
Yeah.
want to go forward.
And I think I am slightly
Can
below
we
the
get
porch.
another zoom on this guy before we collect him?
Oh, yep. I was creeping up on it. Okay, zoom in, please.
Sorry.
No worries.
Oh my.
Just keep
I
you
was
on
in
your toes.
I was in stealth mode there.
Man, I hate these fish. They're so black. Just can't make out
Okay.
any details.
Great. Thank
Okay,
you.
come wide. Okay, let's see. Let's see, like yeah, keep zooming in, zoom, 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 zoom. Okay, stop.
Suction's on?
Yep,
Yeah, okay.
section's on.
Let me know when you want me to reach out.
Well, probably pretty soon. Yeah, go for it.
Oh,
Come here, come here.
Okay, hold on. Don't chase it. I got it.
Okay.
Pull it up. You're in the dirt. Up, up, up. Yeah, there we go. Up. You're low, you're low, you're low. So let's bring it back in towards the porch and zoom out just a tiny little bit so we can see the edge of the porch. Yeah, let's
Maybe
zoom
we
in to
didn't get
just
the
see the edge
fish.
of the porch.
We
Yeah,
got
right
the
there.
shot.
So that'll give us a little bit of perspective, and I'll try and bring it in like real close to the porch so you don't have to like reach out,
Yeah.
and then it'll help you with the height. You were there, you were just a little low. Just gonna switch to cinema cam. So cinema cam will help us
Oh,
with the
nice.
height,
That's
right?
great. Yeah.
So then you'll know where the height is.
we getting any stills, Greta?
Yeah, it took
Yeah.
like 15.
Awesome.
We might not not get the fish, but look,
You're
this
low.
one you can see it
Up, up, up.
perfectly.
Oh, it's right in the.
I think
Almost
I
had
took
it.
too many.
Oh, you're back up. Yeah. There you go. There you go. Got it.
Oh,
Woo!
Okay, let's
Okay,
wait
watch
for it in
this.
here, and
Yeah,
I'll
in
turn it
there.
off.
Oh.
Okay, suction's off, and I'll
Okay,
rotate the
rotate.
jar.
Great job. You did amazing.
that was wonderful.
Yeah.
That is the first
Okay.
rat tail I have ever collected by ROV. that
Yeah.
I have ever been on watch with.
All
when it was
right.
collected.
Can we come live,
You
please?
two, you guys collected it. I did not collect it.
What did we get last time, Jeff? When we...
It turned out to be another of the Babby Gaddets, which was good
Oh.
because we don't have any collections from this region.
So it wasn't a rat tail.
But it wasn't a rat tail, and
Okay.
that's why I wanted to make sure we did a really good zoom before we collected
Do
this
you want
time.
to get your camera where you like it, and then I'll make sure the arm's not in the way?
Roger.
There we go. Rotate a little bit out.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try. Just gotta get back into position now.
Okay.
That's amazing. That was a highlight. That was
Dan,
so
that's
riveting.
Sample 019.
Nice work. That was awesome.
Yeah, I feel like... Yeah, having a lower cam is
Yeah,
good
that
for that.
totally
It's
gives
so
that like
hard.
height perspective. Yeah.
Otherwise, you just can't tell.
Yeah.
Okay, Atalanta is pretty low.
Josh, so, since you're working within a 3D space with having just like 2D data, how difficult is it to how difficult was it to do that?
Well, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. Like you've only got a bunch of two-dimensional flat images, but we're kind of trying to stare at like 3 cameras at the same time. So even though the viewers are only watching like the main Herc view, so we use that, but also I have a down-looking camera and then another camera which looks kind of straight forward just above the porch of the vehicle. So that front black kind of little tray in front. And so that gives us a little bit of help of like where to position the arm. So in the beginning, we were a little bit low. Like the perspective looks like you're right in line, but we were a little low. So I think bringing out the other camera helped us give that plane.
Yeah.
So you're literally trying to stare at 3 cameras simultaneously, and it's a little tricky. But yeah, that was awesome. That was super cool to get that.
Yeah,
It's,
you did amazing. Kudos to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks,
My
yeah.
first Slurp witness. That was amazing. So we also have another question from our viewers, and I'm sure our scientists in the room could help us answer it. What's next for this sample?
So, Noel, do you want to take this one? No? Okay.
We'll zoom in, please.
At the end of a dive, all of the samples are transferred from the various boxes and sample chambers into the laboratory, into a refrigerator, and they are all examined, photographs are taken, measurements are taken, and they are then preserved in typically alcohol, sometimes formaldehyde, depending on what the sample is, and sometimes tissues are taken as subsample for other purposes, like genetics or something like that. So if the animal is going to be preserved in formaldehyde, sometimes a small piece of tissue is preserved in alcohol because you can't do genetics on formalin-preserved things. But those specimens then, after the cruise, those will all be transferred, the animal specimens, to Harvard's Museum of Comparative Zoology. They're ascensioned into the collection. They're given a collection number, and they can be checked out effectively by anyone interested in studying them. So they become open to the public, and the collection's inventory can be searched online at the Harvard Museum. You can just go to their website and search their collection holdings.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you.
You're at the end of your tether there.
Okay, thanks.
There might be a coral there. Oh, no, that's a crinoid. Yeah. Okay.
We can go. Oh.
Oh, up in the water column, there's something interesting coming down current.
Oh, yeah. just wait for it to get to me. I'm just near the
Yeah.
end of my...
That may be
For
one
once,
of
I'm near
these.
the end of my leash.
I think it's that long-legged shrimp.
Yeah, can we zoom on that?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to come to me. Hopefully. Get it in the light a little better. Maybe we can try zooming in, but it might be a little
Might
far.
be dark.
Yeah, you try it. Go for it.
Oh, there's a fish way in the
Oh.
distance
Yeah,
there too.
there.
Yeah, okay. The thing we were tracking is in fact one of these swimming shrimps with the big antennal scales.
Okay, I'll come wide, please.
That looks like a Coeloranchus in the distance there.
Well, then we should definitely head that way.
Oh, it just shoot up like a rocket.
Where did it go? To the right? Do you see where it went?
No, it went very, very, very fast.
I still see Coeloranchus. It's
Oh yeah, no, it's that one.
above
It
the
was
lasers.
probably another particle of something.
Oh,
then.
okay. All right.
So we have a question from one of our viewers for the room here. Are there any non-university degree routes into marine science or biology that could lead to employment in the sector? School's pretty expensive.
Yeah, at least on the ROV side, some of our pilots have kind of like an ROV specific technician program. I can never remember which two schools do it, but those are a shorter and less expensive route than doing a full degree.
Wow, that's awesome.
Maybe Josh remembers where.
There's actually several around the world, ROV schools. There's Canada, Scotland, Singapore.
All right, you're turning me around.
Thank you. You're not.
It might be a different experience for people from other countries. Education is not expensive in other places other than the United States. I went to school in Australia, completely free. Most of my classmates most of my friends went to school in Taiwan. So look for where you fit in. And
do you want me to turn
sure.
auto heading off? And
Yeah, sure, why not?
That's
Give me
awesome,
just
thank
that
you.
little bit more.
Sorry, Menzel, I interrupted you.
Oh, we're going on the fish.
all good.
I do not know what this is.
Oh, just right at the
What
end.
the
Sorry, come out just a little bit.
does have a pointy snout. It might be Coeloranchus.
Where's the dorsal fin though?
Yeah, that's where I'm kind of not sure. This is a cusk eel. Oh, moving left. This is a cusk eel in the genus Porogatus, and it does not look like anyone. I'm guessing that based on the length of the body and that it only swims with the very back portion of its tail. It has a very narrow snout, but it does not look like the ones that I'm used to seeing in Hawaii and in the Eastern Pacific. So that's a new one. We haven't seen that fish this expedition that I'm aware of.
Okay, I'm gonna slide back over.
Okay. You want me to put auto heading back on?
Give me 1 sec, I'll get in a better spot and then we can fix it up.
The diversity of cusk eels is pretty astounding.
Hundreds of species. very, very hard to distinguish on video.
Oh no. Oh. Is that another stalked crinoid?
Uh-huh.
All right, you should be able to turn around maybe. Keep lateraling over.
There you are.
Ali, and welcome everybody tuning in. We are currently exploring an unnamed seamount west of Babeldaob Island, just outside the boundaries of the Palau National Marine Sanctuary. This is a 16-hour dive with goals to survey the diversity and distribution of deep-sea benthic communities and look at the area's geological features to better understand the age and volcanic history of the region. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, or just want to hang out with us, please send them over on nautiluslive.org.
I was talking directly to Data.
Can you repeat what you need?
Yeah, Data, can you confirm the fish collection was sample 19?
Correct.
Thank you.
Don't know if that's something over there or it's just a bit of shadow. Yeah, that's nothing.
And another note to our viewers tuning in, we have our pink pyrosome highlight video. It's a type of tunicate live on Nautilus Live, and you can find that in our gallery tab if you want to give it a watch.
We'll zoom in, please.
Another one of these sea cucumbers. This was the one we last saw swimming. That sea cucumber was,
Okay,
I had
go
thought
back,
was
please.
a different group, but given that it's swimming and most of the swimming sea cucumbers are in Elpididae, I am presuming that this one is as well.
I think at this point, we would need to develop a new outreach material, and it would be a sea cucumber montage or chart. There's just such a cool variety of them.
Yeah, I bet Derek's glad to be in the mainland right now.
Oh, what's the story behind Derek?
He just got saturated with sea cucumbers. And
Derek has seen a lot of sea cucumbers. And he gets a little bored of them.
Oh no. They're so cool.
Reminds
agree.
me of
I like sea
Appa,
cucumbers.
the
I
flying
think if we
bison.
see another one, we
Okay.
should collect it.
totally.
Sorry?
Sea cucumber. I think we should collect one of those if we see another one of them.
That one, the
yeah,
one we just saw.
I think so.
Okay.
How do you collect them? Do you use the manip or the slurp?
One or the other, depending on size.
Mm-hmm.
If it'll fit in the slurp sampler, it's the easiest.
A lot of times we also actually use the slurp to pick them up. So we'll turn suction on and we'll kind of, because a lot of them are too big to fit through the suction tube. So we'll turn suction on and we'll use the suction tube just to pick them up and then put them in a box.
Oh, that is so cool.
That
It
way
must.
you're not closing the manipulator on them.
Oh,
Sorry.
Do they
There's
stay in
a-
the box?
A rat tail up in the water column if we tilt the
They
camera up a
do
bit.
try to escape sometimes. Yeah, so you got to be careful when you open the box.
Oh,
so cool.
That is a very large rat tail, probably in the
Zoom in,
genus
please.
Coryphonoides.
has these pointy pelvic fins,
Uh-huh.
such as the
Yeah.
tripod fish. What do they use them for?
So in this case, they have a barbel underneath their chin. They have those elongate pelvic fin rays, and you'll notice how the anal fin is very long and very broad, and so they frequently swim kind of head down, tail up. So the pelvic fins and the barbel serve as sensory structures across the seafloor.
I see.
They have huge eyes.
Yeah, this is definitely Coryphonoides. So it's different than all the smaller rat tails, or at least most of the smaller rat tails we have been seeing.
Okay, we'll come
And
wide,
it might be Longiceros, but I'm not certain.
What do
If
they
we-
eat? Go ahead.
The rat tails of this size would be predators, so they're going to be eating other small fishes, shrimps, squids. Right below us, there's a sea cucumber. I think
Okay.
we do want it. That's
All right,
we
let's
keep
stop the
seeing
ship,
it,
please.
so let's collect that one.
And Manzel,
Yes.
what is the traditional use of sea cucumbers in Palau?
We eat them mostly, not these types. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 types that we eat that are existing in shallow areas. They're mostly eaten raw, but we try not to expose that information because there are other actors out there that want to monetize them, and in certain markets they're very lucrative. So we try to keep it into the local markets, and that's all that we do.
Can you describe the taste and texture?
I'm not familiar with the species, but one type we eat the outer part of it, and it's just sliced into small pieces like sashimi. We mix it with some herbs and soy sauce and eat it. Some we eat the intestines, so we open it up, clean all the sand out. And we also put some lemon on it, eat it with taro sometimes. But it's not like a meal that we eat, it's more like an appetizer. Yeah.
Sounds wonderful.
Usually eaten by elderly people. Yeah.
I remember I tried an amazing sea cucumber noodles recipe
Oh,
in
wow.
Nigual in the north of Babel Daub.
Sounds about right.
That sounds pretty good.
In some states, they use them as signs for fertility in some organisms, including humans. Like in some cases, they use them as signs. Oh, this is a month that good for procreation, or time of the month that's good for procreation.
Ooh, what are we looking at here?
This is another one of these sea cucumbers. We need to get a good zoom on it before we collect it, and
Wait.
hopefully some still images.
We also will need to think a little bit about where we want to place this. In the forward box, we have some mobile and floaty things.
We'll zoom in, please.
So that's going to be a tricky one to
Okay.
place there. I'm not sure if you're
Taken
able to
off
put
already.
a slurp into the starboard bio box.
No, we can't do that.
Yeah.
Is he
Come a little
alright?
wider, please.
What do we have that's in the front
We've got
box?
it's a coral snip that has an egg case that was quite floaty, as well as a squat lobster associate.
Okay.
So I'm not sure.
Which side?
And Lambda, the port side of the forward bio box.
Port side of the forward. Okay.
It's definitely too big to slurp, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is this something we
I
could
mean-
use the net for? If we have-
Yeah, we
Yeah.
could.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah,
And just like
It's a
twist
good-
the top so
it's a
it
good
can't
idea, right?
escape.
Yeah, we can try that.
And then where does the net go? Does it stay
It will get held by the
held?
Well,
Okay.
we could put the net
arm
in the
or-
box. We could put the net in the starboard box.
Oh, I
You
see.
can swing it around the side and not worry about
I
losing
see.
the animal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's either that or we could If we have that in the, because what we would do, like exactly what Rye said, so we'd grab the slurp, put it just a soft suction, a little bit of suction on enough to hold the animal, and then we could hold it right in front of the box and just kind of open it and let it go. Try that too, but the little scooper might be not a bad call. I don't know. What do you think, Jeff? What do you think, Jeff? Excuse me.
Well, if we didn't have anything floaty in the front box, I would say use the slurp gun and put it in the front box.
Yeah.
If we're really worried that the coral with its associates is going to float out of the box, I'd rather not do that.
I think it was the octopus egg case that is the most floaty.
Right.
That's my understanding.
Okay. So, yeah, why don't we try the net?
Okay.
Alternatively, well, I don't know. I don't know if it's not possible just to pick it up in the jaws and hold the jaws part open and rotate it around. I know you guys have to keep actuating them, right?
Yeah, it's not something I can hold. I can't.
There's not a lock
There's
position.
not a lock where it holds in a certain position, unfortunately. Yeah, so I'd have to actively do that, which getting it all the way around to the starboard.
Yeah, 'cause you can't see it for a while, right?
Yeah, it would be very, very difficult, yeah. I mean, I could try and, if you want to keep the net, I could try and empty it. I could try and empty the net into the box, maybe.
Let's give it a shot. Let's use the net, see how we do.
I think I'm gonna try and hold it by the hockey puck, maybe.
Why are you suggesting to collect the sea cucumber from this area, Jeff?
So we've seen quite a lot of them, but I'm not really certain what sea cucumber this is. And by collecting this animal, we'll have a physical voucher specimen. So this can be taken back. It can be identified conclusively as to what it is. We can get genetic sequence data on it. And then that can be applied to the similar looking animals in all the video that we will annotate when we get back. So at the end of this expedition, hard drives with video data come back to my lab, and a group of folks in my lab, includes Megan and Harold, who are on this expedition. They go through this very painstakingly and annotate it, meaning they identify and count all the animals in the video. So at this point, that sea cucumber might just be ID'd at a family level, but it's fairly common, and with this specimen in hand, we can hopefully ID it to at least a genus, if not a species level.
The net's the wrong way.
It might work that way, though.
It might. Well, maybe I'll have to grab the whole thing here.